Hello, this is Lady Boule, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, President Donald Trump said today, and it was kind of shocking, but he said, speak English or get out of my country.
Speak English or get out of my country.
Donald Trump has just announced that starting in August, English will be the only official language recognized in the United States. Under this policy, all public services, including schools, hospitals, and government offices, will only provide services in English. Public signage, forms, and website content will gradually eliminate Spanish language versions. In terms of language use, bilingual options will no longer be considered standard. Trump stated, "If you want to live in the United States, speak English. It is the language of our country." He noted that a unified language helps strengthen national identity and promote social integration, and claimed that language fragmentation is being exploited by certain groups to weaken America's cohesion. The policy is currently in the preparation phase, with relevant directives to be gradually communicated to local governments and public institutions. While the government claims the move aims to improve efficiency and promote integration, it has also sparked significant controversy.
Okay, Mr. Trump. He said it with his full chest. Speak English or get out of my country. The reality is, white people and black people have been complaining about this language exchange for quite some time. You call somewhere, then you got to hear it in English and Spanish, speaking Spanish, and people out in the streets speaking Spanish and looking like a foreign country. So it has been a problem. So this has been coming on for a long time. So I think he has a lot of support for this.
Speak English, Gerard, my country. Speak English or get out of my country. Yes, you heard correctly. Those were the president's words. The Spanish language could be coming to an end in the United States. Donald Trump has just announced a decision that has shocked millions. Starting August 1st, the only language officially accepted in the country will be English. Just as you hear it. There will no longer be any services, signs, or forms in Spanish or any other language, Trump said. If you want to live here, speak English. This is the language of the United States. The order is already being prepared to be implemented in schools, hospitals, and government offices. Everything will have to be in English only, and those who continue to use Spanish could even lose access to important services. According to Trump, speaking multiple languages weakens the country's identity and encourages more immigrants to arrive illegally. But many criticize this measure and say it is a direct attack on the Latino community, which now numbers more than 60 million people in the country.
This apparently is one of the objectives for America going forward. Establish English as the official language of this country and not compromise with some other language because so many people from some other country have come here and they speak that language. So now we've got to accommodate them. So that should be part of the immigration plan. You have to learn the language if you're going to come here and live and work. I don't see anything wrong with it. And let us not forget that when our ancestors came here, they had to learn English. They couldn't speak their native languages. So it took Donald Trump to put this policy in place because English is the official language of America. But slowly but surely, Spanish is creeping in. And every time you look around now, somebody's talking about speaking Spanish. States like California and Florida, I am told that in some places you can't even get a job if you can't speak Spanish. But you're in America, and as an American, you can't get a job if you can't speak Spanish. So you have to draw the line somewhere. I think that this is necessary because for a country this large, you have to have a common language, and you can't let other people come in and bogart their way in and try to force their language on you or to make the citizens of the country feel like the country is progressing. If you've got all these languages that everybody's speaking, then it becomes a fractured country like the ones they fled. Just look at Africa. They brag about having all of these different tribes and all of these different languages and all of these different cultures. But what's the benefit of all of that? 54 countries on the continent, but they don't seem to care about the continent, about their countries, And they only seem to care about the people in their tribe. If it's 5,000 people in the tribe, that's all they care about in a country of 25 million people. And that's one of the reasons why they have such a mess over there. They have no unity. They don't have any commonality. They only care about those 5,000 people and the cows that belong to their tribe. So, looking at it in a certain way, Africa is just a big landmass with what they call 54 countries, with all of these different people, with all of these different ideologies, with all of the natural and mineral resources that they could possibly want. They don't know what to do with them, and they don't know how to use the God given gifts to help the people grow and to become more spiritual and just to be able to serve the world. They don't even know how to make themselves useful to the world. So they're just always open to exploitation. And it's really very sad. But I'm back to language again. A common language would do something to help. So, yes, a common language, common religion, common way of dressing, shared values, those are things that can unify a country. In the United States, we don't give ourselves credit, but Black Americans and white Americans speak the same language. We have similar religion. Most of us are Christians. And we wear similar type of clothing. We eat the same kinds of foods. Everybody doesn't like exactly everything that everybody else eats, but pretty much we like each other's food. Those things are unifying, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. But because we have those things in common, we can actually communicate with each other and understand each other when we want to. And when we talk about freedom of religion, I know America was founded on freedom of religion, but for many years that religion was Christianity, and now it's being challenged with the influx of these other religions, especially Islam. But all you have to do is look at the countries where they have migrated to. Look at the shape they're in. Up in the Scandinavian countries, they are doing everything they can to run those Muslims out because it really, they conflict in values. Where they reside, there's nothing but conflict because the Muslims want to change the way you eat, the way you dress, the way you worship, even the way you pray. So that's, they just create confusion and chaos in a society. Then it just becomes a fractured country. And it's not a United States of America. It's just like Africa and Europe and Asia. You just got all these little nation states with all these different people and cultures and languages, and you're not unified. One of the reasons that I think it should be emphasized that English is the official language of this country is because some of these immigrants, especially African immigrants, keep talking about Black Americans don't speak but one language. Like we need to speak a lot of different languages. If I go to Mississippi, they speak English. If I go to California, they speak English. If I go to Tennessee, they speak English. So we don't need to know how to speak 15 languages to live in America. But listen to this.
Of America, right? But what is the culture? Bro, let me educate you. Every culture starts from a language, a tribe. Every tribe has a language. What is it? Apart from English, what other language do Americans speak? The Black Americans. The Mexicans in America speak Spanish. They have something they speak outside English. The Asians the Chinese, everybody speak their language outside English. What do you speak? What is the trace of your culture you're talking about? What is American culture? I want to know what is the Black American culture. I keep hearing this culture. Bro, the Black Americans are the culture, maybe baby mama culture. You know, baby single women having 3 kids. That's probably their culture. Or the numbers of the highest incarcerated Black young men in America. That's their culture. I don't know. Is it the pum culture?
As you probably guessed, the young man in the video is a Nigerian as they continue this one sided, ridiculous, and laughable competition with Black Americans. So now they've decided they're going to focus on language because we don't have our own language. We speak English. The Mexicans speak Spanish. Well, Spanish is a European language just like English is. But nevertheless, they think it's a big deal that Black Americans only speak English, most of us. As I said before, we don't have a need to speak a lot of different languages in the United States. It is good to know how to speak different languages, especially if you're going to travel. But even with that, you're not going to be learning the languages that they speak. You're going to be learning the languages that are most often spoken in the world. In many of those African countries, their official language is English, French, and or Portuguese. And in some countries in East Africa, they speak Swahili. And that would be the only African language for most of those African countries. So to say that they have their own language, that's just something that they speak around in their villages. But those African languages don't have any global impact. But anyway, back to English. It is the official language of America, so probably no accommodations will be made otherwise, especially where the United States government is concerned. I think taking another language as an elective, or if you're going to live or work in another country, you absolutely should learn that language. But it's not a flex to say I speak another language and it's a language that nobody's speaking except the 1,200 people in your tribe. I'm glad Donald Trump made this point. I know a lot of people may not agree with it, but I'm glad he clarified it. But let me know what you think. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.